Hello and a very good evening and welcome to another edition of the Hampton Netball Show on this Wednesday night. A coolish sort of Wednesday night, so hopefully you're sitting back, keeping warm and tuning in to the Netball Show. Great to have your company, Trish Butters, as I welcome you.
Yeah, it's certainly a change from last Saturday where we were sitting in beautiful sunshine and nearly snowing tonight, I think.
Oh, she's been a horrid week, so hopefully the weather conditions certainly improve on Saturday, because I've no doubt Tuesday night training, hopefully tomorrow night training for our sides has been, probably hasn't been as nice. So hopefully Saturday is A1.
Yep, and then we've got association champs on Sunday, and the forecast isn't good, but anyway, we'll be out there.
Pack your raincoat.
Pack your raincoat. All weather gear, actually.
Hey, we've got a lot to get through tonight. We've got two great guests from the Portland Tigers and the North Warrnambool Eagles. We'll go through the results. We'll look at the ladder as it stands after round 7. And then we're going to have a look at the Association Championships, which the Hampton League will be heavily involved in on Sunday out at the Warrnambool Netball Stadium. Our first guest tonight from the Portland Tigers. They're in great form, the Tigers, and they've got a big clash against the Croydon Saints this week. And I speak none other than Remy Grant. Remy, thanks for joining us on the Hampton Netball Show.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, fantastic last couple of weeks for you guys. I guess a slow start, but you're starting to find a bit of form. And you're sitting inside the top 5, so you're in a nice position at the moment.
Yeah, comfortable enough. Like you said, we did have a slow start to the season, just finding out what combinations work best. And I think over the last couple of weeks, we have really found what does work best for our team. Got a few people that can swing in a few different positions. So, yeah, we're finding our groove, which is really nice.
Remy, I've been really impressed with your young juniors that you're playing this year, in particular Tylea Barr in goal defence, and I know she's representing us on the weekend. How are you finding working with the young bunch?
So I'm pretty sure that Tylea is our only junior in our team, but she has been fantastic. No matter what position we've thrown her in, she gives 110% every time. She had a bit of a go at wing defence on the weekend against, who did we play? Terrain. So yeah, she just gets her hands to so many balls, and yeah, she's just an asset to have in our team. She's doing really well.
Hey Remy, I love the goal shooting aspect and just the way the dynamics play out in a netball team with the goal shooting. I think you've found a nice little formula there at the moment with Jess Crow, who's a new player, shooting some good goals and shooting quite a number of goals, and then Heidi Jones being that Robin of Batman. That side kick that's doing some nice things as well. So you find a nice little combination down there.
Yeah, I mean, Jess was in Div 1 last year, but had a few injuries, so didn't play a lot, and has come into our team, into the Open this year. Really nice. Her and Heidi have worked together from the start. It just clicked. They don't need to, do much to make it work. It just works. Yeah, the combination's working really well.
I think too, you're not pumping yourself up much there, Remy. The game I saw, you're a great link player and you've really come up to a new level this year. How do you rate your season so far?
For myself, I think this year I've been trying to be more of a leader on court, especially through the mid-court as well. I think my leadership levels have stepped up, which is helping my game a lot. I really enjoy being in the mid-court, working with both defence and offence. And, both ends are starting to work really well. So we're all linking together nicely.
Hey, Remy, you had a milestone game on the weekend. I think it may have been 200 club games. So you've been a part of the fabric for quite a while now. It must be a nice feeling that, finally, after a few seasons in the Hampton League, you guys are really flexing your muscles and potentially working towards your first final series. I know there's still a long way to go, but sitting inside the 5 at the moment, doing a lot of things right. It must be a nice feeling and giving you guys a real bit of an edge to even improve more.
Yeah, I mean, 200 club games, that's amazing. I knew it was coming up soon. I just didn't know when. So it was a nice surprise on the weekend. And then obviously to come away with the win as well was really good. A couple of the games that we've had so far this season, we probably had a bit of a slow start and we weren't able to come back from that. So just something that we need to build on going into the second half of the season. We've got 2 really tough games coming up against Croydon and then South Warrnambool. So we just need to focus on our own game, what we work best or how we work best together and what we work best on at trainings and bringing that into the game as well. So, yeah, we're looking forward to the second half of the season, that's for sure.
I was going to mention that you've got a couple of toughies coming up. Croydon Festival this week, and we know they're strong. They're playing a lot of juniors through their ranks as well. Who do you see the big matchups for this weekend?
Oh, honestly, probably just the overall, everyone on the court. Everyone's going to have a tough opponent against them. Like you said, Trish Karoit, very strong all over the court. Obviously, a few tall players as well. So we're not really sure how we're going to start our team yet. So, yeah, we'll just see how it pans out and see how the game plays.
Yeah, because you're not an overly tall team apart from Jess Crow. Am I right in saying that? Or I suppose...
Yeah. Obviously Jess in our shooting end, Heidi's not overly tall but can run, and she's there when we need her. At our other end, we've got Michaela Pitt, who is quite tall and can jump, and Jackie Piergross, who is tall as well. Throwing Tylea in the mix, she can get her hands over many of balls too. So, I mean, we're not tall compared to some of the other teams, but yeah, we do have a couple of taller girls in our team, but yeah, we're pretty much even over the whole court.
Hey, one last one before we let you go, and really have appreciated time, Remy. Just the feel at Portland must be pretty good at the moment. You know, the boys are undefeated in the seniors. You guys are, playing some really nice netball. You've had a really nice month. The feel, the energy, the vibe around the Tigers camp must be pretty good.
It is really exciting. Seeing the boys win on the weekend as well, and having them top of the ladder. It's awesome. I think there might have been a bit of a glitch in the ladder on the weekend because we thought we were actually sitting fourth. But then it got obviously changed a little bit, and now we're sitting fifth. But it's okay. We're very happy with that. And our other senior netball teams as well are sitting, I'm pretty sure, in the top 5 too. So yeah, it is very exciting. The club's up and about. So yeah, we're excited to see what the season brings.
Hey, Remy, good luck for the weekend. Good luck for the rest of the season. And we look forward to catching up with you later in the year.
Beautiful. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Remy.
Remy Grant from the Portland Tigers. We tried a bit last year to get her, but just a hard one with basketball commitments. Yeah. But great to catch up with her, and a real leader of the Tigers. And, she's leading the charge with their revival to a certain degree.
Yeah. Like she mentioned, they didn't have, I think when she talks about juniors, she's saying girls that playing in the under comp and playing up, but they've got quite a number of, like Heidi's not old.
Yeah, Heidi, Maddie Stone.
Katie's on it.
Katie's on it.
I think Maddie Stone is 21 and 22. She doesn't
look
it.
Still young.
She doesn't look young to us, but or me anyway. But they are still younger players and had a year under their belt, or maybe 2, some of them. But I noticed Remy, it was a really linking role through the mid-court there. So they had sort of the bookends and then Remy through the middle. And obviously very fit at the moment.
Jackie Piergross playing some good netball from all reports.
And
I think that's the key, isn't it? Obviously Jess Crow's been around for a little while. Jackie Piergross, your bookends experience, Remy in the mid-court. A nice bit of mixture in amongst that 7.
It's a nice mix of different sort of players. Like the other girls are a different sort of player. Like I don't know, they're just girls that can play off and get their hands to balls. So and then you get your senior players, I guess, that make that link through, and if there's any mistakes, they tidy it up.
Yeah, love it. Hey, we're going to go to the Zoom again, and we're going to head out to Eagle Park, the North Warrnambool Eagles, and close game on the weekend, and they're starting to play some really nice netball as well. And one of their guns, Rachel Batten, joins us on the Zoom. Rach, thanks for joining us.
Hello, how are you?
Going super. How are you going? And it's been an interesting start to the season. So many close games with you guys. You've won some, you've had the draw, really tight game against the Roosters. It's been a really tight season thus far, hasn't it?
It has been. I think we've been, like a lot of teams in the league at the minute, I think we've been plagued with injuries, sicknesses, just the general sort of things that are happening with the 2022 year. So, it has been hard and it's been really challenging. And I think credit to Sky for kind of put everything together almost like the day before. It's hard. It is challenging, but we're going okay.
It was a cracking game on the weekend, Rach. How was it from your perspective up in the goal end?
It was really, really good. I'm proud of the girls. I think both South and ourselves played quite well. And I know from our side there's a lot of things that we can learn. We like the game was so close, and it was a highly, I suppose, a good quality game. It felt like it had the atmosphere of the finals about it. So I think when we were under that pressure and we did play quite well, but there's still things that we can work on, and I think that's what we need to take away from that. That, you know, the positive things from that. We were close, but there's so many things that we can work on, and we can get better.
I guess the hard thing, Rachel, you probably hit the nail on the head before, is just the uncertainty and the COVID or the year 2022. It's throwing up so many little variables, and we probably haven't seen you guys with your best team on the park yet. Like, you know, it's either been one person out due to sickness, COVID, or whatever it may be. We probably haven't seen the best that North Warrnambool can bring because we haven't seen you have your best 7 on the court.
No, probably not. I think Saturday was the closest so far that we've got. And there's little things that we can work on. Like last night we sat there and we worked out so many things as a team, and which is exciting. And can't wait to start implementing them on the court and at training, and working around the things that we need to keep getting better and to work out, you know, the perfect positions for everyone so we can play the best game.
Yeah, it's probably the best game I've seen North put together at the weekend. We've always knew that individually there were a lot of strengths in the team, but it hadn't really come together as a team. And I thought on the weekend it sort of started to fall together. And as you say, Rach, there were lots of mistakes and things you can improve on. Same with South Warrnambool. They would have taken a lot out of the game as well. It's probably the first time they've been pushed so close. So far this year anyway. I'm sure as the season goes on there'll be other clubs that'll push them as well. So it was a really great game. I'm just trying to think, no, it's gone from my brain. You go to it's one of those days for me.
Hey Rachel, I want to ask you just the impact Maddie Smet has had in the lineup. You know, obviously a big recruit to have come into the North Warrnambool lineup. You know, it's great to see her back along with Nathan playing football, and good to have that family connection. But what's Maddie brought to the netball side of things, knowing that she's, you know, a great player and has been for many years?
I think she brings a lot of experience of the game. Like she, her ability to read the game, and not only read her own position, but everyone else's. Like what, you know, if you move here, if you move there, like where else could you be? She's always looking for things that we can improve on. Like she's working really well with Sky. They're working really quite well together. But yeah, having Maddie on the court is nice, having someone else that's an older head.
You're still young.
Youngsters as well, especially being like a mid-quarter, and she's so flexible. She can move around the court. She can almost not about the ring, but can shoot up. She can play a lot of positions. Yeah.
It's come back to me.
Oh, I'm glad. You're okay.
No, I was going to say about it was a pretty special day out there on Saturday when having Norma Plummer on the side of the court. So what sort of wise words did she have to say to the team?
She gave us advice, and I suppose it's advice that it's at the back of your head, but you rarely tell yourself that. And it was all about like just kind of going back to the basics and like just bring it back. Don't do the showy stuff, or don't do the things, like don't force things. She just really kind of implemented the importance of the basics. Yeah.
Hey, Rach, we've really appreciated your time, and I'm going to spring this one on you now too. You've been named our Miss Kit MVP Player of the Week, so you'll get a $20 gift voucher from Miss Kit to use. So congratulations there, and that's all thanks to Jodie Lane and the team. So you've been judged our Miss Kit Player of the Week.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So I'll give that voucher to Trish, and we'll get that to you at the North Warrnambool game this weekend. But thanks for joining us. Really appreciate your insights, and best of luck for the week ahead and the season ahead as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rach.
Rach Batten. I'm still used to calling her Rachel Ryan, but Rachel Batten, married to the great Tom Batten. And it's great to see her playing some great netball. She's come on, she started at a young age and still relatively young. There's no doubt about it. But
Absolutely.
gee, she's been a player, hasn't she?
Yeah, like her height and
athleticism.
Fit. And Rachel's really improved in her knowledge of the game and how to play a goalkeeper role. She's always been tall, but sometimes tall players take a while to build in, that strength and how to hold. And she's built up a lot of strength over time. She's still thin but she's strong.
Hey, a bloody hard job when you've got to take on the likes of Holly Phillips and Noah Mitchell, the Finch girls in the past. Geez, there's some good goal shooters around. So she's got a tough role.
It's a tough job,
Absolutely.
And she did a great job on the weekend on Holly, and I think most people would said on the day she beat Holly on the day, and so probably the first time Holly hasn't shot 30 goals. So
that's a good win.
So that's a good win.
Absolutely. Hey, let's go to the results of round 7 of the Hampton Football Netball League last weekend. We'll go to some highlights and results, and then we're going to have a look at the ladder afterwards. So the first game we're going to look at is the North Warrnambool Eagles and the South Warrnambool Roosters. And, North Warrnambool 4 goals ahead at half-time. A really tight second half. The Roosters just getting the job done by 2 goals. Rachel Batten named best on court for the Eagles, and Isabella Ray, who's continuing her great season for the Roosters, named best on as well for the Roosters.
Isabella Ray was instrumental in that comeback for them to come back in that third quarter. She moved into the centre and they got 6 goals to North, didn't score, and that was the difference. That whole 6 goals at that particular point in time. So it was a really good move on their part. So it was a great game for her.
The Camperdown Magpies took on the Warrnambool Blues, and what a win by the Camperdown Magpies. They're playing some nice netball of recent weeks. Warrnambool 70-53. I'm looking at the wrong score. Amy Wormel starring there. Laura Burke playing some nice netball for the Camperdown Magpies, and another
some
good
high
game.
Scoring game.
Absolutely.
And this is where the issue came in with Portland finishing 4th. There was some issue with the input
results.
Of scores, and it only had Warrnambool as 42, and then realised that they hadn't put another goalie in and
that's why I said I thought Camperdown won because that result. So, and I know it's a new netball system as well, so there's going to be some glitches throughout the course of the season. So if we don't get it right, it's only just because of we're getting our information too from.
Amy Wormel shot 42 goals, and this is where I looked Saturday night, and I thought 42, and they've
shot
42.
It had Camperdown winning.
Yeah, and I thought that can't be right. Amy, the other girl would have shot a goal. So this little girl, Eva Ryan, 28, shot 28.
She's about 15.
Yeah, very tall.
Yeah.
I think she's in around a 15 team. She's very tall, great player.
So a nice win there for the Warrnambool Blues, and after having 2 tough weeks, it would have been nice to get that 4 points after a couple of really tough weeks.
Sure.
Next game we're going to look at is the Portland Tigers and Terang Mortlake, and the Tigers 51-37. We spoke to Remy Grant. They're playing a nice brand, and they've got a bit of self-belief at the moment, don't they?
They certainly have, and it looks like it's wet there on their court. I don't remember much rain out at Bushfield on the weekend, so it must have been wet over in Portland. Was it in Portland? Yeah, it was. Yeah, so that would have made a bit of a difference. But as I said last week, I was a bit worried, Terang Mortlake going in, a bit short in defence now with Ree going out of there. So that would have given Portland a bit of a Jess Crow. And how many goals did she shoot?
I think she shot 31.
Yeah, so it would have been hard to beat.
Hamilton taking on Cobden, another close game, and the Kangaroos are not far away, 43 going down to the Bombers 46. So they're starting to gel. We spoke to Emma Somerville last week. Kelsey Lewis named best player, Emma Somerville second. Nadine McNamara, Sophie Blaine in her 100th game named the top 2 players there. So a pretty tight game.
Interesting result. Yeah, very
absolutely.
Tight.
Look at 5 goals of difference at 3-quarter time. A good last quarter by Hamilton, but the Cobden Bombers were able to hang on by 3 goals. Yeah,
and Cobden obviously come out of the box well. They were 17-8 at quarter time, and then Hamilton pegged them back in.
Yeah.
So I was really surprised on that score on Saturday night when we read it. And Nadine and Kelsey, were they playing on one another? Interesting to know. They both got best on court.
Yeah.
Who knows? But interesting game. But as we know, we've got Jess Boucher, a young goalie.
I love this.
Absolutely.
Molly's had to step up
to
be the main shooter. Jess Boucher stepped up to be, I guess, the replacement for Molly, and it's working.
It is.
It is
working for them. So I look forward to watching them on Saturday, actually.
Absolutely. And our last game was Koroit and Port Fairy, with the Koroit Saints getting the job done there by 14 goals. Now Mitchell named best player, 43 goals. Isabella Baker, 14. Emily Forrest shot 22 goals for the Port Fairy Seagulls. So yeah, they're getting better each week, the Seagulls,
Yeah.
but we know how good Koroit are as well.
Oh, absolutely. And like Nell 43, she's back, as I said last week. And they mightn't have had anyone to contend with that height. Port Fairy, we know, is struggling a little bit with injuries and sickness over there. So they'll get better. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely.
And giving those young girls like Tessa Allen and it says hidden player. I'm wondering if it's Maddie Green. Who knows? But some of their juniors in the best. That's good signs for them. Though.
Absolutely. Hey, we're going to go to the ladder, and now obviously we hope this ladder's right because we've had those technicalities. But South on top from the Koroit Saints, Cobden, Warrnambool, and Portland. So 7 wins on the trot for the Roosters. Koroit 5-1-1, 5-2 Cobden. Warrnambool 5-2 have started the season really nicely. Portland inside that top 5 with 16 points. Then outside, North Warrnambool just, obviously that draw with the Koroit Saints, Terang, Mortlake, Camperdown, Hamilton and Port Fairy. And I think, to be honest with you, Hamilton aren't a ninth team in my mind. When their best is clicking together, they're a side that's certainly pushing for the 5. Geez, the race for the top 5 is going to be interesting, isn't it? It's
going to be interesting for the end of this round, like till we get to the end, everyone's played, and then the race starts again, and we'll get a bit more of an indicator. I think COVID-related things hopefully will have run their course by then, and we might have more settled sides.
And it's the flu at the moment too, which is causing a lot of issues, isn't it?
It is causing a lot of things.
A lot going on with the flu as well.
But as you say, Hamilton, second last, and only got beaten by Cobden by 3 goals on the weekend.
Yeah.
So
shows you how close a comp is.
Very
Absolutely.
close. Yeah.
Round 8 of the Hampton Football Netball League this weekend. Our Hampton League Live match of the day is the Koroit Saints taking on the Portland Tigers. What a great game it'll be in the football, but equally as good in the netball as well. And we'll try and keep you updated with all the results throughout the course today on 94.5 3YB FM and the 93.5 3YB FM Facebook page as well. Koroit versus Portland, who are you tipping?
Oh gosh,
Tough one.
This will be one of those games you want to see as well. Like, I'm really struggling with this one. Look, I'll go with Koroit. It's at home, and we have to go with what we know. But gee, it'll be a crackerjack game.
Absolutely.
And
what a good test for the Tigers, though.
Absolute good test for them. Got, as we said, a couple of coming up, and I forget their height. Like, I don't even remember who the other girl.
Well, you couldn't remember what the question was before.
It was just interesting when Remy was saying about another tall girl in defence. I'm thinking Jackie Peargrace, but she mentioned another girl. I forgot. Yeah, that was a name that I knew when she said it, and I thought that's not a name I know. So that was interesting. That then they can put Tylea somewhere else.
Yes.
So that gives them some depth
and flexibility.
Yeah, definitely. And Koroit, we know, have got a lot of basketballers, so you're never quite sure who's going to be available for them. But so I can't go past Koroit at the moment.
Young Mia Mills, sensational for the Mermaids last weekend, and if she is as good as what she's on the basketball court, on the netball court, we've got some sort of player.
Oh, she's amazing for her height. She's not. She plays a game like a Jackie Bowman. That drive in and under, drive again.
That nippy sort of type player.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's got
demanding.
She's got good sporting pedigree. Dad David was a super athlete, football, cricket. He was a gun as well. So I know where she's getting her sporting ability from. Hey, Warrnambool versus Port Fairy. You'd imagine a tough task for the Seagulls, but we want to pump them up, and hopefully they can play some really nice quarters to really push them.
I think, they've got to aim at, maybe winning a quarter here or there, and, that would be their aim at the moment. I don't think they'll beat Warrnambool. Warrnambool are very strong again at the moment. 2 tall goalies, and we saw last week that they struggled against the height in goals, so they'll struggle with that. But I think if they can aim to win, or even get more goals each quarter, try and improve.
Defensively improve.
And I'm sure they'll have little goals like that.
Absolutely. Camperdown taking on Hamilton. I think this is going to be an absolute cracker as well. What a great game.
Yeah, I know. Oh, look, I think I'll go Hamilton. Who would have thought that? I wouldn't have thought I'd pick that at the start of the year. Now they've got the Somerville girls back. We know their strength, and they're just going to go better every week. And we saw it last week against Cobden. They certainly ran them up there. Camperdown, I'm hearing great stories about Lily Eldridge and what she's brought to that club. Mary Place, she's such an accurate goalie. She's really, she's not one of those girls that is showy. She's just one of those people
very
that just
methodical.
Gets the ball. It reminds me a bit of a Jamie Finch in that,
lovely.
Gets the ball, shoots the goals. And Lily Eldridge can be used anywhere on the court. She's training with Cougars at the moment. So a very talented player. So it'll be a tight one. I'm going to go with Hamilton.
Yep, good matchup.
Pete will be after me.
Absolutely. Hey, the Cobden Bombers taking on North Warrnambool, another cracking game. And I guess too, like, so much confidence can be taken out of the game against South. North are just outside the top 5. You know, they probably need to steal one against one of these, top 3 sides to try and get in there, because, if Portland can win this week and they're a chance against the Saints, they just need to try and pinch one.
They do.
Against one of these good sides.
They need to beat one of these teams. It's going to be a tough one. Once again, it'll be like, there's a few really tough games this year. I think it'll be a bit like the, who do we have? Croydon, Portland. I think it'll be one of those games, could go either way. Yeah. It will be interesting because, North are quite tall in defence and Cobden aren't, but it's not always a problem. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to chase little players that are whipping around you if you're quite tall. Gee whiz.
Heart or head?
I'll go with heart.
Nothing's changed.
Go for the Eagles.
I think the Bombers are going to be hard to beat, that's for sure.
Oh, definitely.
And the last game, South Warrnambool will take you on Terang Mortlake, and we knew it was going to be a little bit tough, the next couple of weeks, because Ebony Knight's out for the Bloods, such a powerful shooter and a leader, obviously adds that experience.
Definitely.
And I guess the Roosters will be looking at the game against the Eagles on the weekend and looking, where can we improve? I know Will and Lisa are very much looking at things that they can continually improve on, and I guess a game of learnings last week for the Roosters.
Absolutely, and they had plenty of opportunity. They've still got. We keep talking about their depth, and it's there. They've got 9 players that can be starting 7, and they can swap that around. And they did that on the weekend, and that just gave North a bit of a shock at the start of the third quarter and got the lead back. Blackburn wasn't well last week, but stepped up in the last quarter when the game needed to be won. She'll be better for the run this week. So, and as we say, Ebony Knights is a big outfit. I think Terang, maybe till after the next bye when she might be back. We'll be looking at
the old calves. They're as we've sort of said the last couple of weeks, they're the new Achilles. And
you
want to make sure you don't want to rush them.
Don't want to rush them.
You can upset them. So, big round of matches coming up in the Hampton Football Netball League this weekend. A big thank you to all of our sponsors. We've got Power Core, Lindock Living, McDonald's, SunGold Milk, Southwest TAFE, QX3, the Carter Group, the Frolic Bar, the Miss Kit MVP Award, and the Weekly Award. Jodie Lay, an amazing person. Great to have her support again on the Hampton Netball Show. Now, before we go, big weekend on Saturday, we've got our games of Hampton Netball, but then we've got our association championships. Our senior team goes straight through to the next round in Melbourne.
Yes.
We've got all of our junior sides playing on the weekend. We've got teams, no doubt, from Hamilton, Portland, Ballarat, and those sort of regions, all coming to Warrnambool and taking us on.
It's a big day. We start at 9 o'clock on Sunday morning and goes right through to about 4 by the time the finals are over. And I'm hearing the forecast isn't good. Touch wood. It'll be, and that makes it even harder. Like, it's a long day anyway.
Yeah,
play a game,
hang
around and wait, and then play the next game. But when you're wet and cold, it'll take a bit of stamina this weekend. That's for sure.
How are we looking as a whole? We've got some great coaches in place and some emerging leaders with our coaching in that as well. I love it how we've sort of paired, the senior coaches like a Stacey O'Sullivan with a youngster, Sky, to come up, and it's great experience for them.
No, I think the teams are looking pretty good, and I think I saw the 13s train on Sunday. And Diana and Murray were really impressed with how they improved. Like, it's always, they're the hardest ones to bring together.
Because they're the raw ones.
They're the raw ones. They haven't had anything for 2 years. Like, they've been in and out. So there's been a lot of skill building coming up with them over the last few training sessions. So, they're a good team. They're good. A lot of good individual players. It's coming together as the team is the tricky bit. 15s and 17s, a lot of those players have already played in our association champs teams before. Some new players in there, which is great to see. Real exciting to see some other girls who haven't made it the first time, came back and kept persistent. Yep. And this year they've put their name out there and performed really well at training and have been selected. So we look forward to seeing them on the weekend. And once again, it's about how you perform on the day. So we're aiming to win. We're aiming to be top 2, actually. Yep. Top 2 goes to Melbourne. It's always nice to win. Like last year, it was nice. We didn't get another go, so it was nice to be winners on the day. So Yeah, we'll wait and see. I think the 17s might be inside all day, so I might hang around them.
Yeah, I bet you would too, you wuss. Hey, I'll tell you what I love about some of our juniors too. They've played senior netball. They're going to be equipped to playing that next level. So hopefully that senior experience comes to the fore on Sunday, and they can really utilise that to ensure that Hampton really dominates and gets a chance to go to Melbourne later in the year.
Yeah, and good. Yeah. A lot of that 17 team are playing.
Can you name a few of the 17 players?
So our 17s is Tylea Barr, Jess Boucher, Meg Carlin, who we haven't heard much of her. Meg plays for South, and she's a gun. She's trying out the under-19, so she's training down there a lot. Millie Jennings, Mia Mills, Scarlett O'Donnell, Madsy Phillips, which is Holly's younger sister. Mary Place, Matilda Sewell, who is a little gun. Great basketballer as well, Kate's daughter.
Kate and Cam's daughter,
and the twin Taylor girls, Grace Taylor and Lara Taylor. So it's a really good team.
Hey, senior.
Yeah. And I think, that senior experience showed out in tryouts. Those girls that had that, they're just a bit toughened up a bit. Yeah. And they'll need that on Saturday.
Absolutely.
On Sunday, I should say.
Absolutely. No, going to be great. We wish all of our representative teams all the very best on Sunday in Warrnambool at the Association Championships. Good luck to all of our teams playing on Saturday. Hopefully the weather's fine and we see another great round of Hampton netball. Trish, enjoy your weekend.
Yes.
And we'll see you and we'll see everyone else next Wednesday night on the Hampton League Netball Show.